Imagine signing your divorce papers and breathing a sigh of relief, only to discover years later that you're still on the hook for debts you thought belonged to your ex. You're not alone. More than 1 in 3 people end up bearing sole responsibility for a debt they once shared with their partner after divorcedebt.com. That hidden liability can derail your fresh start, tank your credit score, and leave you scrambling to cover bills you never agreed to keep. Even if your decree assigns every dollar of joint debt to your ex, creditors don't have to honor that agreement. In most states, you remain legally responsible for any balance under your name, even on accounts your ex was supposed to handle. Experian.com. And with state laws varying wildly, from community property to equitable distribution, the fine print can mean the difference between a clean break and a financial nightmare. In this video, we'll reveal the 7 critical truths about shared debt you must know before you sign anything. By the end, you'll have the power to protect your credit, your cash, and your future. Imagine staring at your credit card statement months after your divorce, convinced it belonged solely to your ex, only to realize the bill still bears your name, and the creditor still wants payment. When you sign a joint loan or credit card, you enter a binding contract with the lender, one that doesn't magically dissolve because of a divorce decree. Until that account is paid off and formally closed, any balance is the legal responsibility of every name on the contract. No exceptions. Even if your divorce agreement assigns all joint liabilities to your former spouse, creditors have no obligation to honor your private settlement. They can, and will, come after you for any missed payments. No more DBTS.org. This isn't abstract theory. It's the reality thousands face every year. Say you and your partner opened a joint credit card to juggle household expenses. You walk away feeling liberated, but your ex falls behind on payments. Without your knowledge, late fees mount, interest skyrockets, and your credit score nosedives. Or consider a co-signed auto loan. Your name stays on the title and the note, so when the car is repossessed, it's your credit in ruins. Divorce may reset your personal life, but it leaves joint debt untouched, and creditors won't pause for family law. To break free, you must actively sever that financial tie, freezing or closing shared accounts, negotiating with lenders, or refinancing to remove your name. Otherwise you'll keep waking up to surprise bills tied to a marriage you thought was over. But the real game changer is where you live. In the 9 community property states, think California, Texas, Washington, and the rest, every penny of debt you and your spouse rack up during the marriage is treated like community property, meaning it's split 50-50 no matter who signed the charge or who benefited from it. ProsperityPlanningInc.com. Head over the border into one of the 41 equitable distribution states, and judges slice up debts fairly rather than equally, weighing who incurred the liability, why they did it, and who really benefited. Justia.com. In those jurisdictions, a hefty medical bill one spouse racked up alone might stay on their side of the ledger, unless the court deems it a shared burden. Some states even let you opt into a community property regime or blend rules in unique ways, making it crucial to understand your local law before you sign away any joint obligations. Skip this step and you could wake up to a mountain of shared debt you never intended to keep. When you co-sign a loan, you're not just lending your good credit. You're signing on as a full partner in that debt for life. Divorce decrees can shuffle liabilities between exes, but lenders don't care about your court order. They only see the contract you signed. If the primary borrower defaults, creditors will come after you first, and the missed payments will ding your credit just as hard as theirs. Bankrate.com. Even refinancing or selling the asset won't magically release you unless the debt is paid off or the lender formally agrees to remove your name, which they're under no obligation to do. StackExchange.com. Being added as an authorized user on a credit card might feel like a sweetheart deal. Full spending power without the repayment risk, but the reality can still bite you. While most issuers won't legally pursue authorized users for unpaid balances, those charges often show up on your credit report, dragging down your score if the primary cardholder falls behind. Debt.com. And in rare cases, like disputed charges or internal creditor policies, they could reclassify you as a co-responsible party. Before you assume you're untouchable, check the issuer's fine print and consider cutting ties by having the account's primary holder remove you or closing the account altogether. Experian.com. Failure to do so could mean unexpected bills, or worse, credit damage, that linger long after you think you've moved on. An indemnification clause, sometimes called a hold harmless provision, is your secret safety net when your ex stops paying a shared bill. In plain terms, it orders the spouse assigned a particular debt to reimburse you if you end up footing the bill. Divorceinfo.com. Picture this. Your divorce decree says your ex will cover the mortgage. Months later, they default. the bank comes knocking at your door, even though your agreement says otherwise. With an indemnity clause in place, you don't just stew in frustration. You have the legal right to sue your ex for every late fee, penalty, and interest charge you paid on their behalf. Scrambling.com. Drafted correctly, that clause will name the specific creditor, list the debt amount, and explicitly state, spouse A shall indemnify and hold harmless spouse B from any liability, loss, or expense arising from this debt. If your ex misses a payment, you can enforce this promise through contempt proceedings or a separate civil action, reclaiming not only the principal balance but also the costs of pursuing reimbursement. The Center for Family Law.com. Keep in mind though, that indemnification won't stop a creditor from chasing you first. It simply creates a personal obligation for your ex to make you whole afterward. That means you still need to aggressively remove your name from joint accounts or refinance debts. But with an indemnity clause, you'll at least have a clear path to recovery if worse comes to worst. One of the most reliable ways to sever your name from a mortgage after divorce is to refinance the loan in your own name alone. Refinancing replaces the original two-party mortgage with a brand new loan for which only you are responsible, effectively cutting your ex out of the payment obligation and protecting your credit if they fall behind. Quickenloans.com. To qualify, you'll need to submit a fresh mortgage application, complete with income documentation, bank statements and a credit check. So lenders look for borrowers with sufficient income and solid credit scores to shoulder the debt. Themortgagereports.com. Once approved, the old mortgage is paid off in full and your name is removed. Just remember that removing your spouse from the title deed is a separate step, often handled via a quitclaim deed as part of the property division process. Auto loans follow a similar playbook. If you co-borrowed on a car, your best options are to request a formal co-signer release, refinance the vehicle in your name only, or sell/pay off the loan entirely. RateGenius.com. Co-signer release policies vary by lender. Some automatically granted after a history of on-time payments, while others require you to demonstrate improved creditworthiness. Refinancing the auto loan can also remove your ex's liability but, like a home refinance, depends on your ability to qualify on your own. Bottom line, whether it's your house or your car, you must actively engage with lenders, refinancing, requesting releases, or closing accounts, to ensure the joint debt really stops being your problem. After divorce, any joint balance left unpaid can slam your credit score, sometimes by dozens of points, because every shared account shows up on both spouses' reports. If your ex skips a payment on a credit card, mortgage, or auto loan, those late fees and delinquencies hit you just as hard. Even if your decree says you aren't responsible. Chase.com. Suddenly, you might find yourself locked out of new credit cards, slammed with higher interest rates on loans, or even denied an apartment lease because landlords see the missed payments on your file. Worse still, those black marks don't disappear overnight. Negative entries like late payments stay on your report for up to 7 years, haunting your borrowing power long after you thought the marriage was behind you. Experian.com. That means a single month of default by your ex can translate into denied home loan applications, harder auto financing, and sky-high APRs on anything you try to buy. To prevent this fallout, you need to monitor your credit closely, freeze or close shared accounts, and push for removals or refinances as soon as the decree is final. Because once your score is bruised, repairing it can take years. You might think you've caught every joint liability, credit cards, loans, the mortgage, but the real danger often lurks in the shadows. Utility bills typically don't hit your credit report unless they're sent to collections, at which point they can turn up as a derogatory mark and drag your score down for years. Experian.com. Lennormortgage.com. Medical bills are another silent threat. Unless you spot them early, unpaid doctor or hospital charges can be sold off to collectors, and until new CFPB rules fully take effect, they'll remain on your report, haunting your credit long after you thought you'd escaped. Consumer Finance.gov. Even small debts, parking tickets, library fines, overdue taxes, can be shoved into collections without your knowledge and catch you off guard when you least expect it. The only way to avoid these surprise liabilities is to run a comprehensive credit check before you finalize your divorce, comb through every line item for unfamiliar entries, and dispute or pay off anything that wasn't on your radar. Do this once, and you'll save yourself the headache and financial fallout of chasing phantom debts down the road. TyHLaw.com. Now that you know the 7 critical truths, how joint liability survives divorce, why your state's laws can tip the scales, the hidden risks of co-signing and authorized use, the power of indemnification clauses, the necessity of refinancing or releasing yourself from shared loans, the credit score fallout that can haunt you for years, and the surprise debts hiding in the shadows, you're armed to negotiate smarter and protect your future. Don't let a well-meaning decree lull you into a false sense of security. Take action now by running a full credit check, closing or transferring any joint accounts, and insisting on clear indemnity language before you ever pen your signature. If one of these points hit home or shocked you the most, drop a comment below and let me know which truth you're tackling first. And if you found this breakdown valuable, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next deep dive into critical financial do's and don'ts. Your support helps us keep creating the insights you need to move forward with confidence. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.